Hey there, Melissa with Atlas CFO. We're spending a little more time in our bonding and surety conversation, and we're going to dig just a little bit deeper on what is required to obtain bonding. So just a little bit of background. If you remember from the previous video, this is an agreement between three parties, which is the owner of the project, the surety, and the contractor. And these are mutually agreed upon terms, but as well, if you remember, this is operating more like a bank than it is like an insurance product, because you are going to, although you start with an insurance agent or a bond manager that is typically part of an insurance agency, they will then get you in touch with and coordinate a surety program for you. But because of all the requirements, it feels a little bit more like a loan or a banking relationship. So if you haven't watched that previous video, you can check that out. Today, we're going to spend our time talking about what is required for that program. My good friend, who is a surety bond guy for a long time, talks all the time about the 3 C's of surety, 3 C's of bonding, which is capital, capacity, and character. And I'm going to dig into each one of those just from from an accounting perspective, because guess what? Accounting and finance is involved in the first 2. And, well, character, you're probably on your own. But, you know, if you're like our contractors, you're in good shape. Okay, capital. So whenever we're talking about capital, what does that mean? Well, it typically has to do with net worth or some sort of a cash management or cash availability ratio or work. So net worth is a pretty obvious one. That's equity. And then working capital is usually the measure that they use for liquidity or to evaluate how much cash flexibility you have in your organization. Working capital is also a critical one to determine your bonding program. And then there's a multiple different ways that they look at ratio analysis. So this capital, I kind of, under the heading of capital, it most of the time deals with one of these 3 major items that can be found on your balance sheet. So when you think about capital, we're actually looking at your balance sheet. Yes, this is like one of the, oh my gosh, I didn't know that's what we were looking at. Yeah, we're not looking at your income statement. It plays a part of it, of course, but your balance sheet is determining this first C, which is capital. Your balance sheet needs to be on a % complete method for the best results. If that's not something that you are currently doing and you would like to learn more, you can check out our WIP class or our big library of all things construction accounting, which is all access, and that will address getting your balance sheet on the % complete method. You have to have positive equity. I was once told that positive equity, that depending on what your software is, some of them call it capital, some of them call it net worth, but having a solid number in that section was your entrance into a surety program. I found that that is really helpful to think about. If you have a positive number there, you get in the door. If you have a negative number there, it's going to be tougher. And then working capital. We talked about working capital. I've got, I think, several videos out here on YouTube on working capital that you can check out. You're looking for a high number in working capital, and that is describing and showing the amount of cash room you have, how much, I call it cash flexibility. It's how much you can run through your company. Okay, capacity. So capacity is actually, it might feel a little more like the income statement side. If capital is the balance sheet, this might feel a little more income statement-y, but it really is more about the type of work that you do and whether you have the room and the capacity, you aren't growing too fast. It's really talking about your total work program, not your total bonding program. So you could have one job bonded, but your capacity is all the work that you have. They're specifically looking for somebody that's, they want to avoid somebody who's growing too fast, too strong, too much. And this is also where they deal with some risk assessments, where they're looking to your whole load of work, all of your backlog, and saying, this project that I've got that's going to be bonded, does it fit within the rest of this work? Some things you could look at is your typical revenue stream and how a job fits with it. what your project management team depth is so that you can handle the project that you're looking at bonding, superintendent and field oversight. And if you can show how it fits with your existing model, your existing workload, you are so much better off. We actually built software to help with this because we could see how important it was for our sureties to understand how work would flow through the company. And whenever we're looking at a new job, how does it fit within what we're already doing? Our Atlas growth model is our projection software that allows for you to see this cost run out, how this job is going to fit with the rest of your work so you can determine capacity. We actually even built reports in that software just for sureties because it makes the conversation so much easier. And finally, character. So our third C is character. And if I could speak to anything in the character, I would probably pick transparency. Over the years, we've seen contractors that want to hide the truth from their surety only to have the surety find out anyway. We have, I would say, have had 95% of the experience been that if you talk to them, they are reasonable and they will help you. I will say there was 5% that did not happen, but there's always an exception to the rule. But most of the time, your surety is wanting the best for you because the best for you is also the best for them. If you can have open and honest dialogue about how your projects are going, what your struggles are and how you're overcoming it, and anything that might help them understand the risk associated with you, you end up being better off. Even though it's uncomfortable, even though it might make you get a little hitch in your step, that character is really built on that transparency and being honest with them. And I know you guys, if you're here on this channel, you're already got that, so you'll be fine. If you would like help with a surety program, we have 2 resources for you. So if you'd like to do kind of working on that financial background, building the right financial statement packages, that's our all access program. And that's something that you can go through at your leisure. It's got hundreds of items in there to help you build a strong financial platform. And then the other thing I mentioned was our Atlas growth models. So that's typically under our virtual CFO services that we do projection models. If you are in a growth mode and you're looking at getting bonding, that could be a very good solution to be able to showcase how a project fits in with the capacity that you already have. So thank you for joining me, and it's always great to spend time with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.